have the capacity to win their division. They have dropped 3 straight, the most recent this Monday night against the Bengals. And now Mike Tomlin having conversations with Juju Smith-Schuster about his TikTok dancing on other teams' logos ahead of the game. Okay, Ryan Clark here with us, former Steelers, Super Bowl champ as well. Stephen A., a lot of problems here with Pittsburgh. What is going on with your Steelers?
Well, first of all, I think the biggest problem is that they can't run the football. That's the bottom line. Now, we know James Conner has missed some games and what have you, but I've never been that high on him to begin with. I'm high on him as a person. I'm high on his story. I certainly don't think that he's a scrub and incapable of playing. But when I think about the great running backs in Steelers history, from the days of Franco Harris to Jerome Bettis to Le'Veon Bell and what have you, he's just not in that class. The Pittsburgh Steelers, tell me the last time that you've seen it over a 2 to 3 year stretch where the Steelers running game has ranked second to last, 31st in the league, 29th last year, and they're at around 29th or 30th this year. They're awful. They can't run the football. That puts more pressure on Big Ben Roethlisberger, and obviously at this particular age and point in his career, that's just not a wise thing to do. So I would definitely put the onus primarily on their running game. If you're running the football, you're moving the chains, you're chewing up the clock, you're playing smash mouth football. I think the combination of their running game and their soft offensive line, because their offensive line has been soft this year, they certainly looked soft in that first half against Cincinnati on Monday night. I definitely think those are the two primary culprits. First, the running game overall, and secondly, the offensive line to a lesser degree. Run blocking maybe might be a problem, but even with their pass protection, I got questions about that. Let me say this real quick about Juju Smith-Schuster before I pass it off to you guys. Juju Smith-Schuster, I like the kid. I think he's got tremendous promise. But I bring this up because I said this to Max when Antonio Brown was departed, Brian. I said, are we sure Juju Smith-Schuster's a number 1 receiver? I know he's a number 2. I know he showed out when he was a number 2. But are we sure he's a number 1? Because he doesn't look that way to me. We got to see. Might be too young, might not be ready for this. Since Antonio Brown departed, over the last 2 years, Juju Smith-Schuster, 14 games last year, 12 games this year, that's 26 games. He has 1 game of over 100 yards, which was against Miami last year. Last year, he averaged about 5.5 catches for 47 yards a game. This year, he's averaging, I think it's like 3.5. He's averaging 46 yards a game. When you have numbers like that, you have no business dancing on somebody else's logo. You should be dancing in an end zone. Unfortunately, Juju Smith-Schuster hasn't shown a penchant for getting that done, although he's got about 7 touchdowns this year. The bottom line is he has to play better, he has to be better, and somebody has to tell him that's when you get to dance on somebody else's logo, not before.
Well, first of all, let me just answer that question. Are we sure that Juju Smith-Schuster is a number 1 receiver? I said at the time when you had that question, I think he is. He looks that way to me. No, he's not. I can tell you he's not. He's a good number 2 receiver. Obviously, he needs someone on the other side. If he's your number 1 receiver, you'd like to upgrade a little bit at receiver probably. Okay, that's one. I think you covered the TikTok stuff, but let me tell you why Tomlin, I think, is good. You know, at one point, I'm not going to talk, it's no big deal. Remember that was, a week or 2 ago? And now it's like I'm going to address it with him. Why is he going to address it with them? Because they're losing. That's it. Because when you're losing, this stuff comes up, right? So the question is, why are they losing? What is the Steelers' biggest issue? Ready? Ben Roethlisberger. That's their biggest issue. He had an amazing comeback season, 38 years old, coming off a catastrophic injury, a guy who made a career getting hit, basically, right? Holding the ball, getting hit, changed the way he played, got it out quick. But there's a reason he has to change the way he plays, and it's not just to preserve his health. It's because he can't throw it down the field anymore. Can't do it. You know, not consistently, not accurately. Can't do it. He's old. We understand why. There's nothing. It's not like anti-Big Ben. It's just that he can't do it. So you're right about the run blocking, Stephen A. I brought it up on this show many times. Casey Joyner, the football scientist, right? Behind good run blocking, 7 yards a carry, an average back. 7 yards a carry if you get good run blocking. Behind great run blocking, the best back's only going to get you 3 yards a carry. So, behind bad run blocking, the best is only going to get you 3 yards a carry. So when you say James Conner is not, Le'Veon Bell, no doubt, he's not Le'Veon Bell. If you give him good run blocking, he's a good running back. He's a B+, B+. You can get it done with that. They're not getting it. But that's not even the issue. The issue is when there's no downfield threat, there's no vertical passing threat really, the defense is already playing up on you. If you're having issues run blocking, good luck now. No, the Pittsburgh Steelers' number one problem, unfortunately right now, is their quarterback not being able to throw it down the field. That's why Tomlin now has to address TikTok dancing with Juju Smith-Schuster.
Well, no, Mike T got to address that with Juju because they're losing, right? And the other reason he has to address it is because the Buffalo Bills, who are a town a lot like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like Pittsburgh, they support their team. They're a blue-collar team. They're a blue-collar city, a city of hard workers who loves their quarterbacks and their players to be a certain way, to be about winning, to be about football. When Josh Allen, before the game, says with an expletive, let them dance, we going to do the work, and then they come out and bust your head, that's an issue. Then it becomes a problem. But make no mistake about it, Von Bell didn't hit Juju Smith-Schuster hard because he danced on the logo. He hit him hard because he was in the other uniform. Every time you go on the field, you want to split the dude in the colors that aren't your colors. That's not the problem. The problem is he dances on logos before the game, but he doesn't dance on logos in the end zone during the game in this 3-game loser streak. That's the issue. That's why he has to address that. But then we can't just put this on Ben Roethlisberger. I agree. Ben can't push the ball down the field anymore. I felt like we were having the same conversation about Drew Brees early on in the season. But there were other things about the New Orleans Saints that's allowed them to win games even with Taysom Hill. When your defense loses a Bud Dupree, when your defense loses a Devin Bush, that hurts you. Coach Tomlin, I love Coach T, right? Mike T's not going to be about excuses. It's the standard is the standard, the next man up. That ain't how it works. When you draft Bud Dupree in the first round, you draft him because you think he's going to be a star. He is that. You lose that. What you replace him with ain't the same. You draft Devin Bush because you're looking for your Ryan Shazier, your Lawrence Tomlin, you're looking for Lawrence Timmons, and then you find it and it's gone. There's a reason you wanted him there. And so when you're trying to replace these things, you're not as good defensively. Now move to the offensive side and you can't invert the line of scrimmage. Nobody can run behind that. And yes, Ben is a part of the problem. Yes, I feel like he's gotten worse with his accuracy, his velocity down the field as the season has gone along. The bigger issue to me is that the Steelers have a ton of problems. Coach Tomlin had this saying, right? Every time that we would come into the building on a Monday, if a dude was a repeat offender, like if he jumped off sides a lot, or if you had a defensive back that gave up a lot of plays over the top, he'd always tell you, give me a new problem to fix, right? Basically saying, don't keep doing the same stupid stuff. The problem is the Steelers keep giving him new problems to fix every single week. And you can't get that done. And I'm actually surprised that Stephen A is so calm. I figure he'd be over there gloating. He's been wishing for this all season. He's been waiting for the Steelers not to play good so he can be like, see, I told you so. This is why I get to wear this really nice suit.
So he's just going to lie on me on national television. So you're just going to be there. You're just going to be there. You're just going to lie on me on national television. That's what we're doing? That's what we're doing? So listen, man, if you miss your brother, if you miss your brother, all you got to do is say, yo, bro, I miss you, man. I miss you, man. That's all you have to say. You ain't got to lie to get me riled up. Don't lie on me. Listen, I'm not wishing anything. I told you. I said, Ryan Clark, your emotions are getting in the way. I see this problem. Now, you're going to sit up there because we got the tape, Ryan. Remember, I got the tape. And not only do I have the tape of First Take, I got you on NFL Live. I got you on SportsCenter after games. Be careful because I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got a whole bunch of sound bites from you, talking about, Stephen A., good point. Yo, I told you this is a concern, and it has come to fruition. I told you when they were sitting there undefeated, I said, I don't like what I'm seeing. Here's why I don't like what I'm seeing. Ben Roethlisberger, their running game, the offensive line, I don't like it. And you told me to calm down. How you feeling now?
Well, right now, I feel like you were right, Stephen A. And now listen, I thought things would get fixed. I saw some of these cracks, right? Which is why I always had them at second in my power rankings, even when they were undefeated, because they didn't look like the best team in the league. I think the issue is now when you lose to the Bengals with Ryan Finley, who it was reported, Zach Taylor was thinking about not even starting in this game because his attitude was that bad, because his personality was that bad, that his play was that bad. And that's the guy that they can beat you with. They beat you because you throw an interception. They beat you because of a forced fumble. But listen, I was talking to Mo. Mo's a friend of mine, and Mo said, you need to argue with Stephen A. more. But I don't want to argue with you. I don't want to argue with you.
Because you can't.
Because I know you came on here today. I know you came on here today to feel good about it. Right? Like, I'm sad. I'm sad that the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cincinnati Bengals.
So
you care more about coming on this show to be right so you don't have to say whoops like Max says you have to say.
Not true.
And you're excited.
You're hurting my feelings.
You're excited.
You're hurting my feelings. I am never happy about the Steelers losing. Listen.
Can I tell you how bad it is for the Steelers right now,
I do have feelings. Here's the deal. Max, Ryan, do y'all realize, I'm going to end it like this. Do y'all realize that the Steelers are on the verge of potentially ending the season on a 5-game losing streak? If they lose to Indy and Cleveland, which is very possible, with both teams vying for that. When does that happen when a team started out the season 11-0 and ended it 5 straight losses? I'm very concerned.
Stephen A.
I'm very concerned.
If that Week 17, Browns-Steelers probably for the AFC North. If little brother comes up, finally beats the Ravens or the Steelers even one time to take the divisional crown away, that's bad. But real quick, this is how bad it is in Pittsburgh right now. The nation's most prominent Pittsburgh Steelers fan, Stephen A. Smith, and a former Pittsburgh Steeler champion, Ryan Clark, are going at each other about how one of them is wishing this on the Steelers, and no, I'm not. That's how bad it is in Pittsburgh right now.
They've caused controversy.
Yeah, Max,
you're absolutely right, Max. They've caused this friction. No, what's wrong with Ryan? Ryan wouldn't listen to me.
Absolutely
Go ahead,
a testament
Charlie.
to how bad it is in Pittsburgh.